A homeless boy fed his only piece of bread to a stray dog. What the dog did the next day shocked the whole city. The city's heart pulsed beyond the bridge, its lights never dimming, engines never ceasing. From this hidden alcove of cracked concrete and drifting litter, 9-year-old Eli watched a world built on pillars of glass and steel, vehicles gliding like silent beasts, neon signs flickering promises, distant laughter echoing across empty streets. Yet for him, every promise had long since vanished. Here, in the cold shadow of the tracks, life measured itself in the shallow rise and fall of his chest, and in the persistent ache behind his ribs that no loaf of bread could fully fill. Before this underpass became his refuge, Eli remembered another place, a small sunlit kitchen filled with the scent of cinnamon rolls baking, his mother humming a lullaby while stirring batter in a chipped mixing bowl. He remembered his father's boots on the front porch each evening, the gentle tug of a hand guiding him home from school. But those memories had frayed at the edges, like the blanket he now clutched, once vibrant, now dulled by rain and neglect. The boy he'd been was a whisper, lost beneath the roar of trains and the clatter of discarded cans rolling across the pavement. On that frigid morning, the air tasted of frost and distant exhaust fumes. Each inhale felt borrowed, each exhale a surrender to chill. Eli sat at the edge of his makeshift bed, a patchwork of blankets culled from garbage bins, hugging his knees as if they could shield him from the wind's bite. His stomach growled, reminding him that hope was a luxury he could no longer afford. And yet, there it was, a single piece of bread, crusted at the edges, tucked beside a discarded coffee cup behind the bakery. He reached for it with trembling fingers, half expecting it to vanish in his hand. He held it as if it was spun gold, turning it between dirty palms. Could one scrap of nourishment change anything? He remembered how people vanished. His own parents had taught him that lesson, so why should bread be any different? He brought it to his lips, about to taste warmth and safety, when a faint whimper reached his ears. From behind a stack of broken pallets emerged a stray dog, ribs tracing the outline of its past, fur matted and patchy, a limp slowing its steps. Its eyes, Eli's eyes, woven together by silent understanding. In that moment, time narrowed. No trains, no sirens, no laughter, only a boy and a creature as starved for connection as he was. Eli hesitated for the first time in months. He looked at the bread, then at the dog, then at the loaf again. A memory flickered, his mother's gentle voice guiding his small hand to break rolls at Sunday brunch. He closed his eyes, inhaled the scent of stale crust, and whispered, "I know you're hungry." With a decisive snap, he broke the loaf in two. He slid his portion across the concrete. The dog sniffed, hesitated, then ate with quiet gratitude. As the final crumb vanished, the animal sat and rested its muzzle on Eli's knee, an unspoken promise of friendship. The afternoon sun filtered through rusted girders, painting golden lines across the broken pavement. Passers-by glanced at the pair, father and son of the streets, yet moved on. In that borrowed hour, Eli told himself stories of the dog's better days, lush fields, playful afternoons, the scent of wildflowers. He even imagined a name, but Stray felt truer, a testament to survival. As dusk fell like a winter blanket, Eli prepared for another night of uneasy dreams. He curled against the dog, sharing every ounce of warmth he could muster. The animal lay still, a loyal guardian against the dark. For the first time in weeks, Eli slept without shivering, lulled by the steady rise and fall of another heartbeat beside his own. At dawn's pale light, Eli awoke alone. His chest tightened at first, but he rose anyway, brushing frost from his clothes. He tucked the other half of the bread into his jacket, a talisman of last night's communion, and trudged toward the bakery, determined to salvage another piece of survival. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, panic reigned in the marble foyer of the Grand Meridian Hotel. Madeleine Delacroix, socialite, philanthropist, icon of refinement, stood stranded before a throng of guards. Her prized heirloom, a custom-cut diamond bracelet passed down through generations, had vanished from her wrist during the previous night's gala. Value: hundreds of thousands of dollars. Sentiment: irreplaceable. Security teams swept every corridor, from valet garages to service elevators, even the kitchen's trash bins. Drones hovered under opulent chandeliers. Staff opened every drawer. Guests offered paltry tips. Yet the bracelet remained elusive. Then, through the revolving doors strolled Stray, the same dog who'd shared bread under a highway bridge, its muddy paws and patchy coat a stark contrast to the opulence around it. The lobby fell silent. The dog trotted to the front desk, sat patiently, and placed something gleaming on the marble counter, the missing diamond bracelet. A collective gasp shattered the hush. They replayed the CCTV. At dawn's first light, the dog had rummaged through the bakery's trash, pawing aside discarded bags until it discovered the bracelet, accidentally tossed away by a careless street cleaner. Wordlessly, the animal carried the treasure across busy avenues, under subway arches, and up the hotel steps, guided by a single instinct: return what was lost. Madeleine, her composure shaken, approached the creature. "Where did you come from, friend?" she whispered. A guard answered. "He belongs to a homeless boy who fed him his last piece of bread yesterday." Tears welled in her eyes, tears of relief, humility, and profound gratitude. Determined to find the boy, Madeleine and a small entourage swept through the streets behind the bakery. Not far away, Eli huddled against graffiti-stained brick, holding a new scrap of bread like a second chance. The dog bounded to his side, tail wagging furiously. Eli looked up, surprise and relief mingling in his gaze. Madeleine knelt on the frost-hardened ground and extended her hand. Eli tensed, ready to flee, but her eyes, gentle, sincere, held him in place. "You gave your only meal away, expecting nothing in return," she said, voice soft with emotion. "Your selflessness saved not only my heirloom, but restored something I thought was lost in this city: compassion." In the days that followed, Eli's world blossomed. His tattered clothes were replaced by a sturdy coat, warm boots, and a knitted hat. He savored hot soup at a community center instead of scavenged scraps. Under a donated roof, he slept on a real mattress, rising each morning to the promise of a fresh start. School was a foreign land of letters and numbers. He stumbled over spelling tests and counted on his fingers in math class, but patient tutors cheered every triumph. Lunch breaks turned into laughter breaks, as he traded stories with classmates who knew little of hunger's sting. Meanwhile, Stray, now christened Hope, thrived in a yard behind Madeleine's townhouse. No longer limping, he chased balls across emerald grass, barked at fluttering butterflies, and lounged on a plush dog bed. Yet each evening, Hope returned to Eli's side, ever watchful, ever faithful. Word of the miraculous rescue story spread like wildfire. Newspapers splashed headlines: "Stray dog returns lost diamond, leads woman to homeless hero." Social media swirled with tear-jerking clips. Charities pledged support. Yet Eli remained modest, more captivated by the thrill of a new pencil box and the taste of fresh pizza than by fleeting fame. Months turned to seasons. Eli mastered reading and math. He joined a school soccer team, scored his first goal, and felt the roar of teammates cheering. He discovered the thrill of turning pages in adventure novels, of painting landscapes in art class, of building block towers in geometry. And each night, he and Hope curled up together, two survivors warmed by blankets and each other's presence. Years later, Eli stood before a community gathering under the same railway bridge where it all began. Now a teenager with bright eyes and a confident stance, he recounted his story, how a half loaf of bread and an act of kindness changed his life. Around him, neighbors and former strangers listened in hushed awe. Together they launched Bread and Bond, a local outreach program pairing volunteers with stray animals and children in need. ensuring no one felt invisible again. Madeline, seated in the front row, whispered to Hope, "Look at him now." The dog wagged its tail in quiet pride. Eli closed by asking the crowd, "Which wolf are you feeding today?" The crowd responded with applause, but his message echoed in every heart. Small acts of generosity can spark lifelong transformations. So remember, the next time you pass someone in need or a stray animal crosses your path, offer what you can, even if it's just a crumb of bread. You may not see the miracle you ignite, but trust this truth: kindness never returns empty-handed. Feed the better wolf within and watch how far its echo can travel.